This is my best friend Sydney. We've been friends for quite some time, 12 whole years. And throughout the years, I came to know one of the most interesting and inspiring creatures I know. So I figured that today I'll share with you 3 simple guidelines I learned from him, which by the end of this video will also help you improve your life. So let's get into it. The first one is, if you're happy, you're going to make everyone around you happy. It's super simple, but it has a huge impact. As humans, we're a tribal animal. We want to be a part of a tribe. But sometimes showing who we are feels kinda hard or challenging because we want to fit. We don't want to be different from the rest of the tribe. But if we see someone doing what we want to do, we'll just be able to do it much more easily. And I think that in today's day and age, where loneliness is becoming a bigger problem each day and the world seems challenging, being able to help someone feel happy is such an important thing to do. Because once you make somebody else feel happy, then they're happy, and then you feel more comfortable being happy yourself, and then it's just an endless loop, and everybody's just benefiting from it. I can't stress enough how many times I've seen Sydney get into a room or into an area with people and just start being like happy, being himself and being like, hey, how are you doing? Like, let's be happy together. And then, a few seconds go by and suddenly everyone's smiling. He's just looking at you with his face, wiggling his tail. And you have no other option than to be happy. And obviously being a dog makes it a lot easier. But I truly believe that if you want to make someone happy, just be happy and see how it just lights up their mood. The second one is stay optimistic and never give up. Because someday, somebody will give you that piece of steak you want. Sydney has watched us eat dinner, lunch, and breakfast thousands of times probably. And in most of them, he's not getting anything from us because we eat human food. That's not healthy for him. But it doesn't stop him from just sitting next to us, looking at us, and being like, can I get some? And you know what? Sometimes it does get some, but it's that persistency and drive to keep trying, that simple animalistic behavior that eventually gets him what he wants. My mom likes to say that he's the most optimistic creature she knows because he's just failed thousands of times. He tried to get some food, he sat there, looked at us patiently, and he didn't get any. But every now and then, when we make steak or when we have something with a bone in it, we can just give it to him, and then he gets his goal, and he has something to eat or chew on. It just makes him super happy. And it's the same with us humans. It's super hard to try and fail again and again and again, and at some point you stop seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and you think about giving up. But the thing is, as long as you keep trying and as long as you keep putting yourself out there, eventually someone will want to help you and you will achieve your goal. You may fail so many times along the way, but as long as you keep trying, you will get there, because nobody's going to just give you that piece of steak. You have to work for it. You have to show that you're persistent, that you have some drive and you want to do it again and again, and you're willing to do it again and again until you succeed. And I really challenge you to just think about one thing that you want to improve in your life and you've been just pushing away or giving up on, and being like, okay, maybe I can try to just push a little bit harder. Maybe I can talk about it with more people. Maybe I can try another person, another friend. Because whenever Sydney didn't get his steak from me, for example, he would go to my brother, and then to my mom, and then to my dad. And sometimes it works for him. So you just have to put yourself out there. You just have to see what happens and believe in your vision. And eventually, things will work out. And the last one, which I think is the most important out of them, is everybody is a friend. Whenever you meet someone, act like they're your friend. Even if you don't know them, and especially if you do. This has such a huge and massive impact on the way people interact with you. Try to think about the last time somebody came to you all friendly, being happy, and you just responded with being angry and being like, don't talk to me. I can probably bet it maybe happened once or twice, but not more than that. Maybe, some of you never experienced that, which is great. When you act like someone is your friend, it makes it easier to connect with them. And Sydney is a master at that. We've had plenty of visitors over the years. Some of them are new faces, some of them are people he already knows. And each time he's standing next to the door, waiting to see who's going to open it, to greet them, to just jump on them and let them know that they're welcome there and that he wants to be their friend. I don't think I've ever seen him reject someone or somebody reject him because of that approach, because people just want to feel appreciated and they want to feel like people understand them and are there for them. And if you can just be that thing for someone, they will appreciate you so much more. Just acting friendly towards people can get you so far, because when people consider you their friend, obviously it's like, I don't really need to explain why you want to be friends with somebody, but once people see that you're friendly and that you want to be there and that you want them to also succeed and for them to and you want them to be good and you want them to have a good experience, they'll just do so much more for you and they'll want to be there for you. And I really encourage you to give it a try this week. Whenever you walk into a room, just smile, say hello, shake somebody's hand, and just be friendly. It will make your interactions that much more easier. And I know it's kinda nerve-wracking and probably anxious to think about that, of just walking into a room and being like, hey, I'm your friend, but it's really simple and all you gotta do is just give it a try. And I know it's probably challenging to think about it, of going outside your comfort zone and coming to someone and being like, hey, let's be friends. Obviously, it's not that simple. But if you act friendly, people will also act friendly towards you, and then you'll be able to create more meaningful and powerful connections with people. And even if the connection you make is not that meaningful, at least you had a good time talking with that person. Unfortunately, I won't be learning any new lessons from Sydney. About 3 months ago, I came back from practice. It was late at night, and I could immediately tell that something was wrong. Sydney was sitting next to the couch in the living room, and he was making a specific noise he makes when something is wrong in his stomach. But this time, he was trying to get up, and no matter what he did, he just couldn't. He would push himself with his front paws, and he would, struggle, but nothing seemed to help. So after trying to cheer him up, after offering him some food and just, trying to see what's wrong, my dad and I decided to take him to the vet. And we were very optimistic because he had some stomach problems before and we gave him some medicine that worked. And we took him to the vet. And we were really sure that, it's just going to be something simple. And then we made it to the vet. They took him in, and we had no idea what was happening. But like I said, you have to stay optimistic, which is what we did. And we were really hoping for good news, that they'll tell us that maybe he had a virus or something. And we just sat there waiting for probably an hour, 2 hours. And then, let me get this just a little bit brighter. The vet came, and from the moment she walked out, I knew something was wrong. She had this expression on her face that you know that something's wrong and you want to hide it from the person you're talking to. So she comes out, sits next to us, and tells us. So we found out what happened to Sydney. He has some fluid in his stomach. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe it's good news. Maybe, just he has some fluid in his stomach. Maybe he can just extract it and then everything will be okay. And then she continued, getting all teared up here, and said that, unfortunately, the fluid in his stomach is blood. And at that moment, I was trying to hold it together, just like I'm doing right now. And I didn't want to let the tears out. And sitting there, waiting to say goodbye one last time, it was tough. It was time to reflect on all the memories we made during our 12 years together. And I think, losing someone close to you, even if it's a pet, you essentially lose a family member. And you just, when they're gone, when it's over, you get to reflect on all the things you did together and all the things you still want to do. And it really makes you appreciate the connection. It makes you thankful for all the experiences you've had together. I was not expecting to get this emotional. And when we went to the room where we said our goodbyes, you could tell that Sydney is dying. He looked at us, but he could barely lift his head. And I could see his brain working, trying to, find a solution to survive, because that's what we do. We all want to survive. And at some point, he realized that this is probably it. And we just sat there with him, stood next to him. And I'm probably going to show some footage, so if you don't want to see it, skip ahead a few seconds, because, I don't know, for me it's kind of hard looking at it, since he's not looking that good. But anyway, I was standing next to him. I was hugging him. I was telling him I love him and that I'm going to miss him. And I just thanked him for all we've been through. And as much as it was hard to see him take his last breath, I wanted to be there next to him. I wanted him to feel loved and surrounded by people he loves, because that's what he did for us for the past 12 years. And, it didn't come as a surprise, because we knew that something is probably going to happen soon. When I recorded my birthday update video on June 27th, that was 5 days before we said goodbye. And dogs have a thing where before they die, they try to get away from their pack. They disappear. And I was with him, and we went to a spot that we didn't film in, and I just couldn't find him. I looked for him for 40 minutes and had no sign of him. I was like, fuck, maybe I lost him. Maybe I'll never see him again. So I guess he knew his time is limited, and he didn't want us to see him die and leave us. But, after that, being with him at the vet and being next to his side while he took his last breath, that's something probably I'll never forget. I was crying so much. And still, I was thankful that he's not suffering anymore, and that we had a good time together, and that we made so many memories throughout the years, and I really had the best friend ever, best friend I could have asked for. And I know that all the lessons and all the things I used to do with him will go with me for the rest of my life. Now, I'm not super emotional usually, but, this hits close to home. And now, 3 months later, it's a weird feeling, because sometimes I still find myself coming back from practice and thinking to myself, oh, I'm gonna get inside and just pet Sydney. And then I remember that he's not going to be there. And that's not something that I thought about, that, the things you're going to miss the most about not having him around is the small things. Because obviously we all have our busy lives, and we were not with Sydney 24/7. So, I could go to work on something and then come back and he'll be there. But when I'm working on something, I'm not actively thinking about him. So it's that small things. It's waking up in the morning and opening the word in English. Not shades, but mechanical shades. There's a word for it, I just don't remember it. And opening it, and knowing that he's not going to be there, wiggling his tail, being like, hey, let's go for a walk. And it's not going for walks around here at sunset anymore, because, Sydney's not with us, so why would we just drive 20 minutes to this beautiful field in order to just walk? Which is something I still do, but not as often. It's not every day like we used to do. And it's really the little things. It's not hearing him walk at night on the wood floor and knowing that he's going to sleep. It's just not getting to pet him anymore and feel his fluffy fur in your hand and, just have the best feeling ever. So it's really the little things that count. And, I knew this was coming. I wrote this script for this video, the idea for this video 2 years ago when he was 10. And I'm so thankful that we got this long forever. Most of my life I said that he's probably going to live to 15. He ended up dying at 12. And, I'm just grateful for every moment I had with him. And I really hope that the lessons that he taught us can really help you in your life the same way they helped me and the people around us. Everybody just keeps coming to us, and each time a person walks in for the first time, they're like, oh, Sidney's not here. Like, somebody's missing. Some kind of energy is missing. I think that just comes to show the impact that Sidney had on people and how a single creature can make that big of a difference. And I think, you can do the same in your community and for your people, because it truly only requires one person to be the change, and you can be the change you want to be. And I think that's what I want Sidney's legacy to be. I want his legacy to be a reminder that you should go outside and just have the time of your life, that you should live the way you want to live, because it didn't matter that, we visited this place probably hundreds of times, we visited other places thousands of times, and just walked there. But every time we got to a place, Sidney was just happy to explore, happy to get outside, happy to be with the people he loves. And I think this is something we all need to remember and all should aspire to do, to just be that positive change, that positive presence in the room. And obviously, it's a lot easier to do that when you're a dog, because you're just cute and happy and everybody wants to be around you. But if you take these principles, these guidelines, and try to live by them, I promise you it will really change your life, and it will really help you live a better, more fulfilling life where you can just, be there for people and just be yourself and be happy. I think that's, the legacy Sidney would have wanted us to have. And, I know. The night he died, we all cried so much. I don't think I've ever seen Ronen cry. And, we just hugged and thought about some crazy stories we have with Sidney ever since he was a small puppy till the end, and all the little things he used to do. So appreciate the connections you have. Appreciate what you have when you still have it, because eventually everything will end, so you just gotta make the best out of it. And I think this is where I'm gonna end it. Like I've said probably most of what I wanted to say. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. This is, a video I was not planning on making this early, and I was hoping to delay it as much as I can. But life happens, and you just gotta deal with it. And yeah, thank you so much. סידני, אני מתגעגע בטירוף, וחבל לי שאתה לא פה, זה מורגש. אבל באמת, תודה לך על הכל. וזהו, אתה חסר. אני אוהב אותך. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Videos from Vietnam coming soon. Bye!